So, to review the aspects of our speech delivery skills that are nonverbal, let's review them together. I'll say them and try to say them before I do or with me. Our eye contact, and think about how we can do panning. Our gestures, let our hands freely move. Our posture and openness to the audience, open hands, relaxed but confident shoulders. Our rate, our tone, our projection, our appearance, what we've chosen to make the audience look at by our clothing. And there are more, but this is a good review. So, talking about delivery options, we could read our speech from a manuscript. Why is this often chosen when we're presenting at a press conference? A lot of times with a press conference, it's a sudden update to give the media at the same time. This was come up with at least 50 years ago. It was kind of a solution to the conversation between celebrities, political figures, leaders, and the press, in that rather than running hundreds of interviews, it could be advisable to invite all of the press people at the same time, and then you answer your questions and they can all do their own stories. Anyhow, if this is late breaking news, it's actually much faster to speak from a manuscript than to speak extemporaneously. Speaking extemporaneously involves basically writing the manuscript and then practicing and working with it so many times, basically over several days, as long as you have. If you have a week, working with it every day over a week until you're really comfortable with it and it becomes part of your conversation, like some of the stories that you've always told. Okay, a manuscript's much easier. You write it out, write it real fast with the research, and then you read it. A pause, a purposeful pause. This is another tool that we have, kind of switching topics from manuscripts, but the power of a purposeful pause, it gives you gravitas, like Caroline Goiter talked about. You can repeat or let the audience think about important points. And it also can help you, the speaker, to collect your thought before moving to the next point. And then you won't have to use a filler word because you're not going ahead so quickly. Notice King's use of repetition and some purposeful pauses in how long, not long. I know we looked at this before. It's worth looking at again. Follows this lecture. Articulation. You can see the definition for it on the screen. I'm going to take you through 4 warm-ups that can help you to see both what articulation is and also how to warm up your mouth to do it. So the first one, hit the last letter at the end of the word. That is literally what articulation is. And what are you using? You're using the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. And then this isn't so much what articulation is, but when you are giving a fresh speaking experience with the audience, you do want to use dramatics. And so we say acting is reacting. Acting is surprise. Acting is listening and opening up your eyes. There's that eye contact. And then you may have heard this one. This has nothing to do with articulation, although it can warm you up to do so. All I want is a proper cup of coffee. That is true. I love coffee. Made from a proper copper coffee pot. If I can't have a proper cup of coffee made from a proper copper coffee pot, then I'll have a cup of tea. And I do somewhat agree with that. Not that it has to be in copper, but that I want the coffee to be good. Pronunciation is how words are said. And this is where I said, if you're giving us a biography about a man named Jose, and one of our best friends is named Jose, in most countries in the world, they would not pronounce that Joes or Josie. So you lose a lot of credibility, or at least confuse the audience when it should be Jose. So in Texas, we probably know that pronunciation, but there's other words we should look up. Physical appearance, hairstyle, grooming, clothing, jewelry. Again, we don't want to judge based on these things, but what we can do as a speaker to prepare to speak to the audience, think about things